This is Hammer 357 Mag. Okay, I've been tagged by the CaliforniaPrepper, and the tag is, what was my worst cut I've ever had on as a result of knives? And I find that to be interesting. I've never really had a bad cut, and there's some reasons for that. Again, right now I have a teeny cut which you can't see really here, and I never noticed it for a few days. And there's one reason for that, and that's because you always carry a sharp knife in whatever you do. A sharp knife will cut cleanly, and it will heal faster. It just does. A knife that's not properly sharpened will basically rip the skin versus slice it. So, and when it's ripped, it takes longer to heal. I spent a lot of time when I was younger fishing. I would go fishing in the Indian River probably every day. And again, I use knives to cut the bait, to cut fillet fish, and I used one every day when I was growing up. I also learned how to use one in the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. So one of the key things in using a knife is to always use a knife so you cut away from yourself. So if you're opening a box or something, you shouldn't be drawing it towards you. Now, so what you would do is you could stand along the side of it and draw it this way. But if you have a box and you're drawing the knife towards you, there's a greater chance of getting cut. So you have the box and you cut side to side, or you can cut left to right. But always draw the knife this way and this way. So never draw it towards you, because if your knife's not sharp, you could actually cut your fingers, but this way you're not going to do that. And one thing to do is don't get your fingers too close to the knife, because you could cut yourself. So you have to figure out how to do that. Now, so remember, a sharp knife, and always draw away from you. Never draw towards you, because again, you could cut yourself, you could slip, you could cut your hand. So you need to be aware of that. Now the next thing is, if you're doing food processing, which is probably where a lot of people get cut, again, the same rule applies. And you need a sharp knife. So again, if you have one of these sharpening rods, the proper way to use it is, in this particular one, again, is put your finger below that part and have your thumb below this. Now, the reason you do that is because when you're sharpening the knife, if you draw too far, it's this guard. As you can see, I'll come off here, it hits the guard and it goes away from you. And so the proper thing to do on one of these rods is you draw the knife like this. I've seen some people draw it away like that, but I'm not. The way it's designed is to be drawn like this. And let me show you how to do that. So, you get the guard up and you draw like this. That gets the whole blade sharp. Now, I worked in the kitchen while going to college, and I was a short order chef, plus for a while I was the kitchen chef, and I used to be good at this, and let's find out. So I can still sharpen it pretty good. But again, I wouldn't try it with much speed until you're used to it. But anyway, that puts a good sharp edge. Like this knife is really sharp right now, and that's because I just put the edge on it. Now the thing to do, again, with this knife, it's important to use the rules where, again, you cut away from it. So especially when you're chopping. Now let me show you something. It always scares me when I see someone on YouTube when they have their fingers out like this and they're chopping. Because if you look at this, if you chop, you could get the finger and cut through it. So the proper way is to curl your hand up so that the knife hits your knuckles. And then you can chop all you want, and your knife, you know, you can't cut yourself because the knuckles butt up against the knife. I'm going to see if I can get in there. And they provide, you know, the knife goes up and down in the knuckles, and your fingers are not out far enough that you cut them. And so you can sit there and chop all day. You watch the chefs, they never cut themselves. They go, well, geez, how does the guy do that? Well, he's got those knuckles. These knuckles are out, and that's used to control this edge of the blade, so you never cut your fingers. And whenever I see someone with their fingers out like this cutting something on YouTube, it just scares me to death because I know they're going to cut their fingers off. So anyway, what have we learned? Okay, well, let's see. One, the most important thing, keep your knives sharp, because if you cut yourself, you're going to heal quicker. Okay? The second thing, again, is avoid cutting towards yourself. Again, that's just an accident waiting to happen. So cut side to side or cut from back to front. Never draw the knife towards yourself. And the other thing is, for these kitchen knives, keep a sharp blade and use this sharpening stick or sharpening wand, or whatever you want to call it, but just every time you get ready to use your knife, just run it down, you know, half a dozen times on each side, and that way you'll maintain the sharpness on this knife, your kitchen knife, and you're not going to cut yourself. And again, if you do, it's a sharp cut, it'll heal quickly, and that's the key thing. And usually most cuts are because you're not paying attention, you're not focusing on the task at hand. Maybe you've had a drink, I don't know, or you're talking to somebody else. Anyway, when you're cutting something, stay focused on the task, because normally you're the only one that can hurt yourself with a knife. This is Hammer 357 Mag. Have a great day. Thank you for the time. And again, I'd like to thank CaliforniaPrepper for giving me the shout out. And remember, long live rock and roll and the American dream.